All right, number one, we got check and ACH fraud. Now, I've had a lot of this in my career, whether it's check fraud and ACH fraud. Check fraud is when a person copies your check stock or your check format and then fraudulently writes a check to a person or themselves and tries to cash it. And it seems to come in waves. Usually when you see one come in, there's probably another dozen coming right behind it, and this is where positive pay is super helpful. ACH fraud, this is where I've had two instances I can give an example on. One is they'll test your bank account, they'll make a small deposit, like a couple pennies, a couple cents, and then they'll go for a much larger withdrawal. They'll try 2 cents, and the next time they're going to try 35,000. My experience, you might get a couple of these. It's not as wavy. I may have made up that term right there. Not as wavy as the check fraud. Usually when you see a bad check come in, there's another dozen behind it. Also with ACH fraud, this one's kind of moronic to me, but sometimes a person will get your bank instructions and they'll try to pay a bill of theirs with your bank account. This is where ACH filter and monitoring your bank account is huge. Because if you can catch it right away, you have a much better chance of getting it removed. All right, number two, fake invoice. I can reference 2 times I've come across this, where somebody just sends you a fake invoice to a fake company and hoping a large enough accounts payable department is just going to pay it. I've caught a couple of these where it's made it all the way to the point where you're ready to cut a check or make a payment, and you look at it and you're like, we didn't order this, and I don't know this company, and you look up the company and it's not a real company and it's a fake invoice. So double check your invoices, make sure it's stuff you've ordered, and always have your internal controls, your checks and balances in place to make sure a fake invoice doesn't get really paid. Number 3, this is going to be a fake or maybe even a legit company sends you supplies that you did not order in hopes that reception or your office manager just accepts them. I've had this happen where supplies get sent, they get accepted, then they send you an invoice. It's for way over market value of what you actually received, and then they get really aggressive about collecting on that invoice and threaten judgments. All right, from the intro, you got your fake IRS Social Security phone call. This is where somebody calls in and acts like they're an IRS agent or that works at the Social Security Administration. They claim you owe back taxes, and you're going to be threatened of being arrested unless you pay your back taxes right away. The very obvious point of where this is a fraud is they typically want you to pay in some sort of gift card, whether that is a Google Play, Apple Pay. They never want cash or a check. So that's a red flag number 1 if you get a call like this from an IRS agent. Second red flag is going to be the IRS doesn't call you. They send a letter first. They'll send multiple letters. And third, hate to break this to you, IRS doesn't accept Google Play. That seems to be the big one that these scammers are looking for. Never pay your overdue taxes with Google Play. The IRS does not want Google Play gift cards. Scammers do. Refund scam. Now, I've gotten these phone calls. I've never actually called them back, but there's a bunch of YouTube channels that call these guys and mess with them. But basically, refund scam. It's a little involved. They call you usually with a fictitious technology charge, whether it's from Geek Squad, whether it's from another technology company. Basically, they say you've been charged X amount of dollars. Person immediately says, I don't want that. I didn't authorize that charge. They offer a refund. They then log onto your computer. You fill out a form. Usually it's like a Word text form. It's very, very low budget looking. You fill out the form. It doesn't really go anywhere. Then they request you log into your bank account. They then mess with the website HTML to make it look like you've gotten a refund, except for this refund is too much from what they originally said was going to be refunded to you. They then panic and say, hey, I'm going to lose my job unless you send me the difference back. This is where they either want a gift card for the difference. Sometimes they'll ask for like a Western Union or some other way of getting cash. Sometimes they'll even send you their bank account, which is actually good to get, because if you can get that, you can send that over to the authorities to get that account locked. I guarantee you all get these daily. It looks like a legit email from a legit bank, a legit company, except it is fraudulent. Usually they screw up something like they don't address you by name, or they leave out a key detail. One of the main ways of identifying these is just looking at the email address. Usually it's some sort of, I don't know, bunch of letters, bunch of numbers at Gmail, a bunch of letters, bunch of number at AOL. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If they're sophisticated enough, they might actually be able to spoof the email, but usually you can hover over the link and you can see it's not actually going to Bank of America. It's not actually going to go to Amazon.com. It's going to a fake website that they set up, and if you click that link and you log in with your username and password, that scammer now has your real username and real password that they can then go into your bank or Amazon or etc. All right, number 7, credit card scams and fraud. This one's not very sophisticated. This is where a data breach has given your credit card information to a scammer, or just good old-fashioned theft. Scammer fraudsters got your credit card information and they're going on a shopping spree on your card. So check your credit cards, dispute those transactions that are not yours. If you see something like this, change your credit card numbers, going to be good to go. Number 8, text message scams. I'm getting a lot of these days. It's a text message from a bank, a credit card, an account like Amazon.com that you have, and the alert is saying there's activity, there's an alert on your account, there's fraud on your account. And I know like Chase credit card will send you alerts if there's actually fraud activity to approve, but more than likely these are not clear on what it is, and they'll send you a link within the text message. Never click those links. If you're concerned and it's a bank or credit card or account that you currently have, go your normal way of logging into that account. Never follow the link in the text message. Go to your PC, log in like you normally do, to avoid these text message scams. What they're trying to do is for you to go to that link, put your real username and password in, and now that scammer has it, and they're going to go to your real account and see what they can do. We're at number 9. This is going to be a combination of number 1, check fraud, and number 5, refund scam. And if I've come across this is why I'm listing it. This is kind of a crazy scenario. There's a fake job ad or a fake Facebook ad that is offering employment to do market research. You get hired, you do the market research, you go back to the person that hired you, get your compensation. They're going to cut you a check for your efforts. Lo and behold, that check was for too much money, and now they're going to be asking for a refund of the difference. And the instance that I came across, that check was a fraudulent check. So this scammer sent a fraudulent check to this individual hoping they would cash it. It's going to be over and above what they should have been compensated for. They're going to request the difference to then be refunded back to them. And what do you know? They're going to want a gift card. They might want cash. You don't want to do it. You really didn't get employed. That's not a real check, and you're being scammed. Last one, this is number 10. This is going to be text messages and emails again. This time a person of authority has been spoofed and is asking you for a favor. Easy way to identify this is hover over their email address. More than likely it's going to be garbage again. It's going to be a bunch of letters and numbers at gmail.com. It's not their email address. The text message, check the number. More than likely it's not their number. I can't think of a scenario where a CFO, CEO, department head has ever asked me to go buy gift cards for them. Red flag, do not do this. If you are not sure, easiest way is call that person. Hey, you want me to buy you gift cards? They're going to be like, no, I'm not asking you to buy gift cards. And you're going to be like, all right, I'm going to delete this email. That's the end of it. All right, that's the end of our 10 frauds and scams that are out there in the marketplace. please be skeptical of emails and texts that you get. Always confirm anything with the real person.